Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, I got to drill 3 holes here. One here, one here, and one here. And what you do is you set up this template that comes with the kit. You put this on the back. You can see that the template you put up against there, what you do first is you drill a 3/32 pilot hole, and then you come back with a 3/16 metal drill bit. This one's a Cobalt from Milwaukee. It's a little loose. It's supposed to be like that, alrighty? We need to put in the tie down. So what we are doing is essentially back feeding the panel, okay? Right now, the main utility is the power source, okay? That's these conductors right here. This is the generator connection that I installed this morning, and I'll show you that branch circuit in a minute. And here's the portable generator wiring circuit. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take out this screw right here. Now this is not live. This is actually deliberately here. There's my set screw. It's not live. I don't have to worry about getting shocked, although you gotta be careful what you're doing. Now this is a magnetic piece. You see how that's magnetic? So that's going to hold it on. That definitely helps you to do this job. And now we are going to put this cover over our breaker, just like this. And be very careful. Those bolts sticking out are live. Okay. And now we're in. This is the code section that requires the breaker hold down kit. So now you can't physically remove this breaker. This cover actually keeps this breaker from being inadvertently pulled out, since this is going to be the supply rather than the load from the bus bar. Right now, the main utility supplies power to the main breaker, and the main breaker supplies power to the bus bar that which the circuit breakers are attached to. All right. So in theory, what we're going to do is we're going to be using this from our generator to supply the circuit breaker to supply power to the bus bar when the utility loses power. So what we did was we ran a new circuit. I ran it underneath there because I ran out of space up at the top. All right, a lot of circuits in this panel, and so what I wound up doing is running the circuit down to the bottom and up into my generator breaker, and strapped it or stapled it along the side of the panel. We drilled some holes and ran it through the joist right here until we eventually went outside, and we are ready now to go outside and attach the PV30 inlet device box. Checking for proper modulation, proper modulation, proper modulation. I believe it's working just right. Okay. All right, so the first thing I want to do is cut out so that the connector in the back of my inlet box will sit flush. So we're just going to cut out a little bit of the siding here. You probably could have done this before you ran the wire. Not a big deal though. We're just going to take out just what we need to so the thing will sit flush, or as flush as possible. We're going to cake this up with duct seal in a moment. I'm going to set my duct seal over here for the time being, and I'm going to slide the wiring through the back of the inlet. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to get this duct seal on the top, just like that, around the wire, around the cable, so that when I push this in, it's going to be completely covered just like that. Of course, you want to make sure that it's level. Good workmanship, right? Now, I do like to get this enclosure a little bit lower, a little bit close to the house on the top, So when the water collects on it, it'll roll off and not behind it. And so now I'm ready to peel back the sheathing here. Just going right down the middle of the sheathing and cutting back the edge like that. Now I know the circuit breaker's not on because I just put the interlock on, right? And with the interlock there, it's impossible for this circuit to be on unless the main breaker's off. What we're doing now is we're going to attach the equipment grounding conductor to this lug, and then we're going to take the equipment grounding conductor from the inlet and attach it underneath this lug as designed by the manufacturer. That's the way we are going to do it. All right, so I'm going to tuck this all the way in the back and out of the way. I'm going to go underneath the terminal strip. It's almost like a circuit breaker, like the QO breakers that you can put 2 circuits underneath. All right. All right. Now our equipment grounding conductors are all set up. Again, just try to get this out of the way because when this goes in, you're going to need some space, especially for the number 10 wires to fold back. So I'm using my Klein lineman pliers, the hybrid pliers. These are the 9-inch version, and I'm using the stripper portion up here, which strips 14, 12, and 10. So you just stick it in there, maybe like 3/8 of an inch you want to strip off. And the nice thing about these is you're not going to nick the conductor at all. All right, so the white is open, and the white's always going to be opposite of the ground. All right, marked W. Then X and Y are always going to be your ungrounded conductors, your 240 volts, 120 here and 120 here, ground and neutral. Okay, that's in there good. Do black over here. The terminals come open, you just got to tighten them down. I usually just tighten them down by hand. Make sure it's good and tight, not over tight, just snug so it doesn't come out. All right, so we're nice and level here, very nice. We're coming to the last step here of gently folding back these conductors in a nice, neat, workmanlike manner as much as possible. All right, I'm going to slide this thing over the top, get it over our set screw. Not there yet. Now we are. And this set screw keeps it in place. Okay. This is the PB30 by Reliance. It is damn good. You can open it up like here. It's got a locking, it's an inlet because the prongs are sticking out versus an outlet, which would be the female end, if that makes sense to you. I hope it does. When you use a power inlet like you see in the video, you have to abide by these rules right here. Where a power inlet is used for a temporary connection to a portable generator, a warning sign shall be placed near the inlet to indicate the type of derived system that the system is capable of based on the wiring of the transfer equipment. The sign shall display one of the following warnings. In our particular case here, we have a non-separately derived system, and you'll see in a moment here the sticker right on the inlet itself. The stickers, the transparent sticker here says warning for connection of a non-separately derived system, which is a floating neutral system only. Portable generator connection. It's going to be a nice install. I'm going to start up the generator right now and try it out. All right, once the generator is on, you got a locking configuration here. The one that's looking like the L right here, or the backwards L, that's your ground. Let the voltage of the generator stabilize before you make your connections. Very, very important that you do that. Now that the female end is in, and as you see it locks, so you can tug on this, it's not going anywhere. You're gonna put it in and turn clockwise and it'll lock in place. The idea is that by the time you go back downstairs to make the changeover, the generator has been running for a little while and it'll stabilize the voltage. You definitely want that running for a couple of minutes before you do the changeover. Okay, so now we're back down here at the panel, and the portable generator has been running for a few minutes, the next thing we want to do is we want to turn off all of our individual circuit breakers, including the main. And this is going to be really easy because we have the interlock at the bottom. As soon as I turn off this main, the interlock is going to drop down and we're allowed to now turn the generator power on. Now the idea is not to turn on any of these 240 volt circuit breakers. They'll be tagged momentarily to not use them during the power outage. But we can turn on the rest of our individual circuit breakers. Right? And all the lights just come back on. We are on generator power right now. And we have our surge, well, we're going to turn our surge on because that's not drawing any power and that's going to help us should there be a surge. As you can see now, the only double pole circuit breakers we have on are the surge protector and of course the interlock. This is back feeding the entire panel right here. These 40s, these 30s, and these other double pole circuits, one of them's for the pool, the other one's for the air handler. There's a condensing unit, a wall oven, that sort of thing. We won't be able to use that on the portable generator system, but we can do everything else, including our internet. That's pretty much it. As far as starting the generator up, that's really all we got to do. Make sure you stabilize the voltage by starting the generator up and let it run for about 5 minutes before you connect everything like we did. Should you forget this or forget how to do this in a couple, and we don't have an outage for a year or two, I have directions right here. Here are the directions. Turn off all of the circuit breakers, including the main. Start the generator per the manufacturer's instructions. Connect the flexible cord from the generator to the inlet box, the inlet device box located outside. Once the main breaker is off, the mechanical interlock should easily slide down. It did. Turn on the circuit breaker marked generator, which we will. Turn on the individual circuit breakers one at a time. Do not turn on any circuits that are specifically marked do not use with the generator. We're going to do that momentarily. Note the air conditioning condenser units, electric ranges, electric wall ovens, and electric clothes dryers and electric water heaters cannot be used with the portable generator. Using less electrical appliances will allow the generator to run longer times. Avoid using items such as the microwave, dishwasher, and laundry machine all at the same time to avoid overloading the generator. When the utility power is restored, we're going to turn off the generator breaker. We're going to slide the interlock up, turn the main breaker on, and then turn on all the individual breakers as well. If you ever have any questions about this, please, down in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Love to hear what your thoughts are on the system. All right, so obviously, you heard, we're still on the generator here, and the boiler turned on. We're good to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn everything back off. This is just so we don't damage the generator. And we're going to turn off the generator interlock. We're going to slide the interlock up. We're going to turn the main breaker back on. And we're going to turn all the circuits back on as well. And we will be back on utility power as we were before. I'll be coming back here. The next task is to label all the circuits in this panel, because there are a lot. And that's basically all there is to it. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.